Welcome to Girl Talk. I'm Nicole D. Miller, author, blogger, speaker, hybrid book publisher, and your host. At Girl Talk, we are a safe space for female leaders to engage in healing and edifying conversation. This is your Me Too, empathetic corner, where we have authentic and transformative dialogue designed to uplift and connect high-achieving women like you. Are you looking for a safe space to cultivate sisterhood with other like-minded female bosses? Leave your cape at the door and join the conversation. Hi guys, and welcome to Girl Talk 101. I'm your host, Nicole D. Miller. This next Girl Talk is one featuring my good friend, Dr. Shamarah J. Hutchins, who I've had the honor of getting to know for the last several years in our quest for purpose. You'll hear her discuss the need for self-healing, even for those who are called to be healers. Self-awareness, growth, and realization is something we champion here at Girl Talk, and Dr. Shamarah is one of our go-to gurus in that space. Additionally, she'll give tools that will equip you to experience a successful full life, which has been learned from her personal journey of overcoming various life obstacles. You can reach out to Dr. Shamarah directly by using her contact information in the show notes. Dealing with abandonment, rejection issues, anxiety, anger, imposter syndrome, hard things in your marriage? Or do you just need encouragement for life? Then this one is for you. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join the conversation. All right, guys, thank you for joining once again, Girl Talk 101. I'm your host, Nicole D. Miller, and I'm so excited to have our fellow Girl Talk member slash book publishing client slash therapist slash everything in my life, Dr. Shamarah Hutchins. Dr. Shamarah, you can say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Yay.
I'm glad to be on.
Awesome. So you guys know we're doing Girl Talk 101. This is a time for you to get to know our panelists a little bit more intimately. We've been doing Girl Talk for 3 years now. Dr. Shamarah has been riding with us from the beginning. One of the things I'm excited about with her being partnered with us is her specialization in the mental health field. So Dr. Shamarah, do you want to introduce what you do professionally and all that jazz?
Oh, sure. So, like she said, I'm Dr. Shamarah, and I hold a doctorate in clinical psychology. So I've been practicing in the mental health field for over, I want to say 20 years now. I don't look like it, but I've been in the field, whether it was substance use disorder, anxiety, depression, self-esteem, imposter syndrome, name it. I've done it with children all the way to adults. Mental health is my passion, or my jam, as people would say. I can do it in my sleep, and I'm just happy to be able to be a change agent within not only my community, but just globally.
Woo! So you guys, I'm blown away. I'm sure you are too listening. Clearly you wear a lot of hats, Dr. Shamarah. How did you get to where you are today? How did you get to being a global influencer?
A lot of self-work, self-realization. I had to work on myself first. Even though I provide therapy for others, I had to make sure that I went through my therapy due to trauma that happened while I was younger and going into my teens and then my 20s. And so in order for me to be effective and being where I am right now and today, I had to make sure I put in the work for myself. I always tell my clients, my patients, I wouldn't do anything that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't tell you to do anything that I wouldn't do for myself. And so just having that open conversation just helps me be in the position to get to where I am now. And so it was more so just doing a lot of work on myself to be able to be okay with myself.
So you definitely said a lot that resonated with me. I've always felt that as a leader, I don't want to ask anyone that I'm in leadership over to do anything that I won't do myself. But who can say as a doctor that they have that same requirement for their clients? Like, I think you're a rare breed in that regard. Because you ever hear this saying, like, doctors are the worst patients? So for you to be like, I'm a doctor who needs a doctor, I need to work on myself, like, hats off to you in that regard. So you did mention some things that you went through personally. Can you give us more information? Like, what specifically did you go through and how did you have to work through those things? What helped you work through those things?
Man, well, first you have to get the Herology of a Woman to get everything that I've been through. I won't say everything, but it tells you about 95% of it. Majority of it, just being brought up with, I was raised by my grandmother and not having both of my parents. That abandonment I had to get through. Even though I knew my parents, I just felt like I was missing something, and so I always fell short as I was younger, basically doubting myself. It was the self doubt, or not understanding why. And still at this moment, as being an adult, sometimes I don't understand why, but I have faith in understanding that why was always meant to be to get me to where I am. And so that was one aspect. Just rejection, not only, even though I play sports, I still had some rejection in there, rejection from friends, rejections from relationships, rejections from schools, like, just having to deal with that and understanding that, no right now doesn't mean no forever, or that door closed so that another door can open. And so just having that optimistic mindset of understanding that, things you go through helps you grow, and you grow through it. And so those are some of the things that I had to navigate, even with relationships. Being married for almost 17 years, it wasn't a great journey. And so having that aspect of trusting and working through and being there to understand that, we fall, but we have to get back up, and just realizing what part did I play in it, or what part, if I played any part, and just, I don't want to say manning up or womaning up to say, you know what, I need to make the changes if I truly want to continue this relationship.
So you did say a lot of nuggets in there. What I'll say is when you said you realized the why got you to where you are today. And that really ministered to me because that's one of my things. Like, God, why? Like, why? But you can look back on your journey and be like, well, that why led you to where you are today. And because I know some of your story, and we'll get more into that, I would suggest basketball was a great outlet for you, right? And can you tell us more about your love for basketball and what that did for you as a child and even as an adult?
So basketball is definitely an outlet, an amazing sports in general was an outlet. I'm just naturally athletic. I was the only person in my immediate family with my siblings, everybody who played sports. Come to find out why, who knows? Maybe God said this was the outlet that I needed. But just understanding that I had to, when I was angry, all I had to do was pick up a basketball. The basketball can never do me wrong because I navigated what it needed to do. I taught myself how to, well, I didn't teach myself, somebody else taught me, but I was able to, get better. I see myself when I put in the work, I see myself like, oh my God, she's good. I want her on my team. And so that built my confidence in being in sports and in being a student athlete, which eventually graduated and helped me build my self-esteem. But basketball, no matter what, that was the one thing that stayed consistent. Like, I didn't have any issues when I was upset, angry, mad, sad. That's the one thing that I can go to and feel comfort. And that was like a great coping skill for me at the moment.
Definitely, I appreciate that. Now, you also mentioned having those struggles in childhood and still in adulthood. I see that in my own journey, being bullied as a child, feeling alone and rejected. And a lot of those symptoms stir up in me even as an adult. One of the things I'll say is community has helped me a lot. Having true sisterhoods, people who are like minded, such as yourself, the Girl Talk tribe that's been created, to really find your tribe and understand that rejection is from those who are not for you, right? So it's not that you are rejected, it's just that these people don't see you, they're not your tribe. Would you resonate with that?
Absolutely. And not so much that they're not your tribe. Again, if we're working through something, 9 times out of 10, they're working through something too. And so we're not in alignment yet, maybe. And so, depending on where they are and if they get the things that they need, they'll come back around if it's an alignment there, if they're supposed to be back in our lives, and understand that, right then and there when we met, it probably wasn't what we were supposed to do. But in some way, if we're supposed to connect again, we will. And just being open to say, although this might feel like a rejection, what is the underlying root cause of this rejection? Because, it's not me. People go through whatever they need to go through. And so understanding that you got to give people grace and say, you know what, right now is not the good time. Right now it might not ever be a good time, but just understanding that, we still have to move on and we still have to learn from that. So, yeah.
And I do think you bring up a good point that they're going through something too. And I think when you're a child, you internalize, you personalize, you make it about you naturally. And as adults, we can at least step back and be like, this is this person's issue, this is where they are at, and to not take it personal. And to your point, it could just be not the right season to connect and be in alignment. When I think back to 2022, it's wild how many divine connections I made, and you were a part of that. And all of them were at that networking group.
It was.
Networking group. I'm like, Lord, this is crazy. And everybody was in position. And I don't know if you resonate with this. I've talked to so many of the other women where it was like a rebranding. It was like we're about to take off in this new way. And I didn't see it until working with Ari with her book, how in alignment we were, that around that time is when the rebrand was happening for individuals and we were all about to really go for it. Does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. That was the time where I was, finishing my doctorate, and it was just like a whole push of
That's crazy.
what I need to do, or what I want it to look like, and what I want my life to look like. And so that was the start of it, me being able to absolutely network with people, because I knew that was going to be a big thing. And come to find out, all the people that I'm connected to came out from that networking group.
We need to write a testimonial for this or something because that's crazy. And I don't know, are you like me where I'm an introvert? And so networking was an investment. It was uncomfortable. I knew it was what God was requiring of me. It was like I have the time, I have the space to create, I have the capital and resources to build this brand. But the sacrifice was like putting myself in these spaces, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Was that hard for you, or was that easy?
No, I'm still an introvert. People keep saying you're not an introvert no more. Yes, I am. Like, this is like anxiety. I have to talk myself into getting on and talking to people, and then when I get off, I gotta, decompress and like, okay, like it's okay. But yes, absolutely. Like, that's a whole outside of the comfort zone aspect that we have to do in order to move to the next level. You always want to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. And that's what I keep telling myself. You have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Yeah. And introverts, we are social. Like people are telling me the same thing. But it takes energy. It's draining. Like I need my naps. I'm also really good with one-on-ones. Like these conversations are intimate, like girl talk chats and things like that. It's the big like events that I have to host that I'm like, oh, I gotta gear up for this. Or to meet people I don't know. That's like, okay, energy draining. So I do want to rewind. So you were finishing up your doctorate a couple years ago. What led you into the mental health field and specifically those line items that you specialize in? Like what led you to focus on those?
So I've always wanted to help people, didn't know how I wanted to help people, thought I was going to be a medical doctor and just helping in that aspect. And so when I found the field of psychology, I'm a true believer in alignment as well. When I found psychology, all doors start to open. And so I never had any roadblocks, nothing. Everything that was supposed to be a roadblock, when I got to there, it was an avenue waiting for me. And so that's when I knew that this was my calling of being a psychologist. And I love to study the brain and the mind and how it changes. and I'm really good. I started my career off in behavior modification with developmental disability sex offenders. So I was writing behavior support plans for them. And so how I navigate, changing their behaviors, I knew that was something I was really good at and great at. And so
Which is
how
very unique. I just want to point that out. Like,
I
who
tell,
does that?
yeah, I tell people all the time, they're like, you work with who and what? They even have a specialty for that?
Right.
Yes, they do. And I always go back and still help them because that is my love. I love seeing people change and understand that they can change for the better. They can, the different things that they've learned, they can unlearn. Like all of that gets me excited because we can train our brains to do what we want. We just have to put that work into it. And so working with athletes, obviously I was an athlete who needed a therapist that looked like me. And so that's when I came back to say that I want to be that person for athletes. So that's why I work with athletes. Women, I'm a woman, like helping us navigate just life. I always say each section or each 10-year of our life, we change from
Hmm.
teenager, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Our decades change and we have to relearn ourselves and re-understand ourselves. And some things might be different and we have to be okay. And so that is me helping them navigate that as well. Children, I have a big heart for children. Why? Because my grandmother gave up everything to take care of me. So I know that, me just going through all the trauma that I went through, there are children out there as well that can use someone that's a good mentor, not so much a therapist, for them to navigate through their different aspects in life. And then entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurs and mindset development. In order to be a great entrepreneur, you really have to work on your mindset. And so I am so into, mindset development, mindset enhancement. And so these are the different things that I like to work on with different people. And those are the niches that I like. But I can definitely do, we can say we can do all things. So I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me and give me the avenue to do it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate your journey, Dr. Shamara. You've come such a long way and it's so inspiring. And I'm just honored to be in alignment with you and connected to walking in purpose. I do want you to share some key moments in your life that were pivotal to you getting to where you are, some crucial moments that were kind of life defining, where you had to choose, like, this is who I'm going to be, or this is how I'm going to move forward.
Oof, there are many. Um, I can say it's a few big ones. One big one was, like I said, I wanted to be a medical doctor. I went to medical school for 2 years. The dream came true. I'm in medical school. Come to find out, I've never had academic issues, but for some reason I was having academic issues and I just could not get past the cardiovascular block to save my life, the heart. And so, with that being said, I got dismissed for academics by a board that basically didn't look like me, but at the same time didn't give me an opportunity. And they just shut the door to say, maybe medicine is not what you need to do. And so at that moment, when that door closed, at that age of 25, 24, 25, my whole life changed because when you think about it, all I ever wanted to do was be a doctor. So what am I absolutely going to do? Because I had a bachelor's in biology and you can't do nothing with a bachelor's in biology. And I had my heart set on, this is my road A. I didn't have no B, no C, no D. I went down my road A and I was on that road. But then I had to think about it. And that was a pivotal moment in my life to say, you know, this door closed, but it doesn't mean that I can't be a doctor. And so that's when I took the steps of what can I do? And then I started to notice different things started to open. That's when working with the sex offenders opened up. And that's when I found out one of my coworkers went to Walden University and got her PhD in clinical psychology. And that's when I learned about psychologists. And from that moment on, I applied to Walden University to get my clinical psychology degree. And it's been that way ever since.
I love it that your steps were ordered. And I do want to say, you sharing that about helping the sex offenders shows me that God has a role for everything, like everybody and everything, because that is not my calling. I'm like,
Yeah.
the audience cannot see, this is not going to be a video footage, so, but my eyes are like bugging out. Like, every time you say that, I'm like, I have somebody in every position in life. That's not my jam. I'm saying. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. I do want to get to your book, right? So tell us about your book, about your journey, about your story behind the book, all the things.
My book, The Herology of a Woman.
Yes.
It's slash a memoir. It's basically my life story, but it also has some therapeutic aspects in there for people to read and understand and think about themselves within those stories and asking themselves questions to see exactly where they are, whether they think they might need therapy or if they don't. And so my whole goal was to, not only be able to speak how and what I went through, but also help someone, a woman, a male, whomever, navigate what they're going through and give them some assistance along the way. And so I think that's the big part of the Herology of a Woman, just understanding that, harmony, how calm we can be, and things do align when it needs to align. Empowerment, how we have to always, be our motivation for ourselves, but also for others as well, and just be in that empowerment group. And then resilience, how much stuff that we can take in to just, get over that mountain and still rise at the end of the day. And so that's where her came from, and then the study. Ology is the study, so the study of a woman. So.
Agreed. Now, how is your process, since we got to partner together with that, how is your
Yes.
process with bringing forth your book, baby? This a long-awaited idea. How long had you had the idea, and like, what was that experience for you?
Okay, so I've been trying to write this book for like 5 to 7 years. Not gonna lie, like a long time, because my pastor, who I absolutely love, he is like my father. He is amazing. He told me when I was 18, you need to write a book. Only at the age of 18. What am I writing a book about at the age of
You
18?
had already been through a lot, Dr.
I
Shimura.
did, but it just was like, what am I gonna tell somebody? I don't know nothing. But he told me I should write a book, and just how he was like, your mindset is just like different. Now he was like, I don't understand it. You'll figure it out one day, but you're just different, and you need to let people see that and be okay with it. And so it wasn't until I was like 27, 30 ish, I think. I said, okay, let me think about writing this book. So
Mm.
I tried everything to write this book by myself. Listen, I had chapters, the chapters changed 50 million times. I, I wrote, I spoke. I said, I just can't sit here and do this. Like, I
And you
don't,
do write, you write poetry.
I do. And I could do poetry from inside out. And I
Hmm.
still can write different things, but it was just so hard. Like, I didn't know how to start. Like, how do you start a book talking about yourself? Like, I didn't know the pattern, like, if I was going in the right direction. I tried writing coaches, meaning that they sat on a Zoom and said I needed to write, or gave me guidance to say you need to write chapter 1 and 2 by the next time we met. Never happened. I done tried everything. And so I was just so excited. I said, God, I don't think I'm going to ever write a book. And
Wow.
then you just posted something on social media about ghostwriting. And I said, what? Oh, yeah, we need to talk. And
That's
so
great.
I think that was the best thing, because I can always talk about it. Like, if you gave me guided questions, and I can talk about it and just keep talking, and I have to stop and write and do this and do that. And so that helped me get the story to be aligned. And I think that was the perfect way to help me open up my creativity, because I'm a person of visual. So now that I see the process and know how it goes, if or when another book comes, it's like I know, because I've been through it, because somebody
Yeah.
actually took me step by step and didn't say, well, here, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm honored, and you were the first completed ghostwritten book project for someone else that I had done. So that was like a win for both of us. Um, did it bring up anything in you, right? So I'm asking these guided questions. You're having a flashback. Did you have any like new epiphanies or memories surface or responses to the memories or anything that was kind of like, man, I didn't expect all this, like going through that process?
Yes. So just thinking about, especially like me talking about the book, but also reading it after it was written to say, I really went through that. Like, how did that really happen? The, and me just really having that, like I said, my life is about checkpoints. Me just really understanding how God was just covering me. People always used to tell me, God covered you. And for me and God have a love-hate. We had a love-hate relationship. I've learned to say my hate is not there no more, and I love him. And so it just really gave me that secureness of he really did cover me. And, with the boyfriend that I had in high school,
I
what
forgot.
what happened in college. It's just like so many things happen, and I'm just like, it could have went a whole different way, because I've seen it go for a whole different way with other people that, I provide therapy with. And so it just was like a reassurance that, man, he is real.
I have chills just you sharing because I forgot some of those parts of your story. It was one thing after another of the enemy trying to take you out, these different circumstances, your home life, but God, and like you said, people around you. I think some people passed in high school, some students had died. Like people around you are being taken out, and you see it with your clients facing similar circumstances or less circumstances and really struggling, and for you to still be standing through all of that. I think the book definitely just shows your resiliency. So, for those who are listening, where is it available?
It is available on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon, and you can get 2-day shipping. Grab it.
And you have the ebook available
You
too.
can have the ebook. You can visit my website, and it'll take you to Amazon. Website www.themindologistdoc.com. And that's where you can get our books from.
So, lastly, and you touch on this in your book, but what are some key moments and persons who impacted you, who aided you in your journey of where you are today?
There's so many, but my Pastor Larry D. Tatum, Dr. Larry D. Tatum, my uncle who passed away about 8 years ago is like my best friend, Jimmy Thomas II. I always have the running joke with my mom. I'm named after my uncle because my middle name is Jamise. Is my mom's middle name, Denise, and my grandfather, Jimmy, is named together, but I say it's my uncle. My basketball coaches, Miss Douglas, she's Miss Clark now. My college coach, Torrance Hill, he is still my father. Like we still talk to this day. My VA mother, Denise, like it's so many people that came path, and I can name a whole bunch of more people. It's just they came right on time, and so I keep in contact with everyone majority of the time. I think that's the one thing I did get from my mom because she remembers everything, and so I remember everything, especially when it comes to people.
And for those who are listening, what words of encouragement would you give them based on everything you've gone through, experienced, endured?
Things may seem dark now, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And so just be open to navigating all of the cracks and crevices, because in that crack or crevice you will see a light. And so just continue to be strong, and that's harder than, it's harder said than done, but just understand there's a reason for everything that comes about, and you will get to the other side.
Agreed. Thank you so much, Dr. Shamarah, for sharing your story. I so appreciate who you are, the gift that you are in our city and our community. And we thank you guys for joining the Girl Talk podcast.
All right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. To continue the conversation, Join our Girl Talk community by following at Girl Talk CLE on Instagram and Facebook.com/HTOHB, where you can join the Girl Talk Facebook group. You can follow me personally on Instagram at HTOHB, on Facebook.com/HTOHB, and at YouTube.com/@HTOHB. Feel free to reach out via email info@indiemillerpublishing.com. If you're a writer who wants to take the next steps into becoming a published author, you can book a one-on-one consultation at indiemiller.pub. Just let me know you heard about my publishing house through Girl Talk, and I'll give you a 50% discount on our one-on-one. If you'd like weekly inspirational nuggets, you can subscribe to my blog and monthly newsletter at NicoleDmiller.com, where you can learn more about me and my writings. Till next time.